Okay, so this is, I think this is good. I think we're live. Boom. I believe we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be taking a quick look at Bitcoin, going over Ethereum as one of our market indicators, and lastly, we're going to kind of end off the episode with links. So stick around to the end so you can join that one. We're going to be a little bit shorter today, not your full length hour live stream like we were doing last week, much quicker because I'll show you afterwards. It's very sunny and very sexy out here in Costa Rica, and I'm going to be getting in the waterfalls and the ocean. But anyways, enough of that personal story. Let's kind of dive in and take a look at what's going on in the market. So, where we always start, out on the daily for Bitcoin, gives us a nice broad perspective. We went through 2017's bull market buying climax, went to our selling climax down in 2019, and we spent the last 180 days through this nice horizontal trading range, building what's known as an accumulation range. So again, what we're trying to do here, guys, always remember to find out where we are in the market cycle, first by starting on the larger time frame so we know the overall direction and bias for the long term, and then from there on the minutia, we use that smaller time frame to become more consistent with, say, leverage and exotic plays. So again, you see this on the left-hand side. What I'm drawing in green is the kind of like idealized market cycle of buy low, sell high kind of idea. So we've been watching Bitcoin back here in October. We were looking at this nice rising gradient bottom trading range. So again, for anyone that's unsure of what I'm talking about during this, a lot of the research can be done by studying Wyckoff on the internet or by joining our private Discord group and community and going through our educational materials. So normally we look for horizontal trading ranges like this. We saw our selling climax, our first automatic rally, secondary test, second spring right here, highlighted by this large volume that came in. And then this was the backup phase. This was the time to go long. Okay, well, perfect. Oh, you're saying, Tio, what good does that help me? That was back in October. Well, what we want to do is find one of these again. And these are known as reaccumulation areas, effectively, right? So these are reaccumulation in these smaller time frames, what I've circled in green, because on the daily, we know, again, on the daily, we've been in a much larger accumulation form. So you can actually see other accumulation trading ranges here and here as well. So what we're looking for right now is a new trading range to form. And that's one of the things we've been keeping an eye on. Now, we had our first kind of real change of character the other day when Bitcoin dropped down to $16,700 right here. This was the start effectively of what our new trading range might be. So right now, again, in an idealized market cycle, what we're looking and trying to understand, is this going to be an accumulation or a potential distribution? So right now, it's too early in the trading range to tell where we are in the market cycle. So before we got this in October, when we were looking at $11,000 Bitcoin, I'd made a hypothesis that we would see a return of price down to around $13,000 to test the top of the trading range for what's commonly known as our backup phase in these market cycles. So primarily when we're doing this, all we're looking to do is form better positions. Now, I've said this a few times and I want to reiterate it. I'll keep saying it, I guess. If you're new to investing and you want to buy Bitcoin, maybe it's your first time buying Bitcoin, just go ahead and buy $50 worth, $100 worth, $1,000 worth, whatever you don't really think about effectively, and just do it without thinking. And then do that every week or every month when you can afford to do it, and don't think about the price. Becoming a good analyst is going to take time. On the benefit of what we have right now is we are in a bull market. So we know we can rely on this bullish sentiment. But really what we want to do is keep our eyes on this trading range that's forming right now, because we could come down lower or we could shoot up higher. Now, there's two real case significance points here. Number one, we come down to $13,000 now. Number two, we actually shoot a little bit higher, upwards of maybe $24,000, $22,000 with a breakout of the trading range. So you'd see something like this. It would go above the trading range. You'd see a backup formation here, and then kaboom, you'd shoot up and make another top potentially. And then from there, we would decide if we would distribute or not. But what I want to do is actually take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum is actually presenting us a very similar story. So let's start by zooming out back to the daily and looking at the entire same situation with Bitcoin. Primary buying climax back in 2017, down your selling climax, and then the formation of this new horizontal trading range, which took over a year to form. We had our primary SOS out of the box, which is what we just saw in Bitcoin, followed by our primary backup. Now, this is kind of what we're looking for in Bitcoin, is this secondary backup phase. And again, it could just be that horizontal trading range that we were looking at in our previous segment. But now we had a backup phase and a secondary SOS for Ethereum. So we're actually kind of one step ahead of Bitcoin in Ethereum's price movement outside of the trading range. The reason this is important is because Ethereum actually had a lot more momentum than Bitcoin coming out of the gate. So we'll just do a rough sketch here up to where we are now. Ethereum versus US dollars, you're talking about a 545% increase versus back to our Bitcoin chart. You can see it's actually quite a bit less. I think we're at around 400%. So from the bottom of our spring to the top of our SOS, we're at 330%. So effectively on Ethereum, we've gone 200% higher because we're a step further. So Ethereum from March till now is actually a better play than Bitcoin, in case anyone cared. And if you do care, it's by like almost 200%, almost by 200%. Let's see the bottom of the spring here. Yeah, approximately 570%. It's about 180% difference at the very least, right? I'm just kind of rough sketching right now, remembering that there's wicks and stuff. So what's important about this? Okay, great question. What we've been following are two kind of idealized breakouts at the backup phases. These were followed by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the return to 7 at the bottom of this kind of rising megaphone before we go like what some would call astronomical or maybe the moon type of ideas. So as we get closer, if you were in the private group, you would note that we were trading this trading range the other day. Now, I like to take my weekends off, so I haven't positioned myself yet. But let's go over this as it makes great conjecture for the moment before we jump into Link. So right now, what we wanted to go over are these trading ranges. So remember that they can go horizontal, they can be a rising gradient bottom, and they can also be a falling gradient bottom, similar to what we're witnessing right now in the color teal or something like this, aquamarine, I don't know, whatever color this blue is to you. So here we saw our automatic rally, our test, our spring, highlighted again by the volume that came in here on this particular spring. And then we saw a slightly higher low each time. Now, what's kind of fun here is I'll show you guys my RSI and my momentum indicators here very quickly. Here's the spring, and then down here at the RSI, and here you can see we almost had the exact same low, but a higher RSI. So this is actually a bit of bullish divergence on this moment here, but again on the weekends I just try to take time off, especially because it's so nice in the jungle. Why even worry about trading? So effectively, after that secondary test came through, we saw this nice primary SOS. And now we're forming what I believe is about to be the backup phase for Ethereum before we see likely higher movement. So what's interesting here is we knew that this trading range was going to represent one of two ideas. Now, I think that this would put us up to around $720 as well. So that would represent, let's see here, approximately a 20% move. So if we look at Bitcoin, how high out of the box would approximately 20% move be? Because the Ethereum and Bitcoin have been moving almost lockstep. So that would put us around $23,000, $24,000 for Bitcoin at the same percentage move that Ethereum was about to make. So I feel confident that both Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually going to put in like these kind of final moments of the sign of strength before we see a bigger backup phase in Bitcoin. But again, we're going to be patient because the trading range hasn't proved that yet for Bitcoin, where the trading range for Ethereum is actually quite strong because of this falling gradient bottom and the breakout of that particular pattern. So again, if I'll get rid of my momentum indicators here, we'll zoom in on this particular trading range. We saw the primary breakout, what is our SOS. And then we're likely to see our backup. We might come a little lower, maybe as low as $568, or this might be the backup. We have seen backup phases that are quite short, so we'll be keeping an eye on this. But more importantly, guys, this pink line here that goes across my screen, this is known as your point of control, and it runs on a profile indicator called the volume profile. If you don't have that unless you have Pro, if you want to sign up for Pro, you can go to arcanebear.com/trading view, and you get a discount if you sign up under our code. But you don't need the VPR, but it does provide this really nice point of control line, which is, again, all it's highlighting is the maximum amount of, or where the most trading, both buying and selling, has taken place, which is, again, this pink line. So right now, our SOS didn't get us above that pink line, and we haven't been able to get above it yet. So it looks like the backup phase will come down a little bit lower. But as soon as we get above and close above this POC at around 600, this could really quickly fire us up to 720, maybe even 740, depending on the time frame that we're looking at. So again, because Bitcoin and Ethereum have been moving lockstep, this bullish indicator in Ethereum is actually leading me to believe that we're going to have a bullish sentiment in Bitcoin as well. Now, sadly, I did get stopped out of my Link trade the other day because it did dip down to 11.5, and I had my stop set at 11.7. But nonetheless, I followed my strategy. It worked out, and it closed in a profit enough to cover the trade that I was taking. But let's take a look at why we made that trade and the potential of what's going to go on here. So we were looking at the same kind of rising gradient bottom to the trading range. I think we had a nice, beautiful kind of breakout. We thought we were going to stay above the POC here at 12.9. That's why my stop loss was set just below that. So we had that kind of peak fear moment the other day. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what happened. Probably something happened in the news. And then we've bounced back and closed above this POC. So we need to stay above the POC line here at around 12.79 for Link to remain bullish. Now, I have not re-entered my position here for Link just because I'm waiting for further confirmations. But again, if Ethereum continues to show us this strength like we've been witnessing, I think that's a strong indicator that Link will probably follow as well. Now, Link has been a little bit anticlimactic considering we had a 60% gain in Ethereum and Bitcoin and maybe only a 40 or 50% gain in Chainlink. So you're always trying to, make sure your portfolio is pacing itself. But again, here with what we're seeing, we can use the volume profile. And you can see very clearly, see this area where it's got all the way below the POC and the volume profile range. Like, look at it, just stayed stagnant like this. This indicates to me that we're probably not that far away from a breakout, a close above the POC, and then that larger kind of ignition move. If we have a failure and we come down and we close below here, you're going to want to be kind of patient for this next movement. It would signal further downtrend. But this looks like a spring to me. This looks like a primary SOS, and this looks like a backup phase. So I'm quite confident. I entered a trade this morning in Ethereum here, and then I went out to the waterfall, so I closed it. It was like at $25 profit or something. Just because when I go out, I want to make sure I'm really confident about the trade when I'm leaving, and we haven't quite got there yet, but it looks like we're getting a lot closer. So I'll finalize with this here, and you can see it as we zoom in on the 15-minute that we hit a bottom here. We had a selling climax on the RSI, and we've been closing higher. And right now, what we're looking to do is kind of get above what will end up being this horizontal downtrend like this, bang, bang. And it looks like we might be there now for Ethereum. So want to keep a close eye on that one as it's not too far away. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Things are looking bullish right now, so that's great. But we're right on the edge of both of those trading ranges, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm going to be a little more patient here with each positioning, because again, we could have a nice explosive 20 to 30% move out of the box for both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link. So highly engaging time over this next week. Keep your eyes on that. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content, guys. If you're new to the Bear channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notifications idea. If you've got any thoughts or questions, if you're new to the Wyckoff methodology, there's tons of free stuff you can find on the internet. But again, we do have a private group. You can join that by joining the links below. It's a no risk offer. So if you sign up and you're not happy, we'll give you a refund. No questions asked. I don't care why you're not happy. Let's give you a refund. It's cool. We'll go from there. So why not try it? Sign up. We should have our next 2 PDFs coming out. And so keep your eye on that. If you want to join our free newsletter, we're going to start doing that hopefully once a week. You can just go to Arcane Bear for that. Anyways, I really appreciate all of your guys' support today. Hopefully that was helpful. No questions this afternoon because I want to go jump in the waterfalls, so I'm being a little selfish. I apologize, but we'll leave it at that. Again, if you guys have any comments, because I'm not going to take them on the stream today, please leave those in the thoughts and questions area down below. Yeah, very exciting, guys. So grateful to see the summertime here in Costa Rica. Oh, and heads up for anyone that happens to be a nomadic worker and traveler like myself, Costa Rica is going to be offering year-long nomadic work visas. So if you decide to, you can actually show up and stay here for a year. I mean, you got to prove you make over X amount of dollars and da-da-da-da-da. But point of that is it's available. So check it out. Come visit Costa Rica. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. I don't know. I love it here. Steve with the Arcane Bear. I'm signing off for the rest of the afternoon. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we will see you again soon. Tomorrow, I'm going to do like an hour-long live stream again, where at the end of the episode, or like the end of the first 20 minutes, where I go over just the market sentiments, I'll go over and we can help answer some of your guys' questions and go over everything from aliens to ancient Peru and megalithic structures and floods for all I care. Again, we'll see you guys again soon. I know I want to jump in and start looking at your guys' questions, but I can't do it today. I got to go get in the waterfall. So we'll see you again. Bam.